Peace, peace, family. My name is Mariah Ivey. I'm a spoken word artist and writer, and it is a pleasure to be invited to this joyous occasion today, right? I love how, even though it's virtual, our community is still finding innovative and creative ways to build with one another, and that's important. So, Juneteenth, right? When I think of Juneteenth, I think of two things. One being the strength and resilience of my ancestors, right? The strength of mind, of body, of spirit, to endure, to overcome, and to still make room for joy, right? For people to be able to endure slavery, right? Hundreds of years of slavery, torture, right? Manipulation, and still smile and still find space to celebrate with one another speaks to the spirit of our people. So that's definitely worth celebrating. The second thing I think of is the layers of freedom, right? We've come a long way, but we have a long way to go. Liberation is layered, it is complex, right? But I celebrate Juneteenth by continuing to embody that spirit of resistance that my ancestors had, by continuing to be as Black as I can be, 365, right? And continuing to create and curate spaces for our voices, for our bodies, for our people, for our creative geniuses, for our ideas, right? For our voices, for our stories. So with that being said, I am going to do a poem that I just wrote. I'm going to read it. It's called A Poem About Libraries, right? I am an avid reader. I love reading. And if I didn't read, I wouldn't know all of the beauty that is Black culture and Black history. So here we go. Libraries be like home, like metaphorical shelters that require nothing of you, your name, subject to change. Here, depending on what side of reality you choose to be on, naming a thing or self becomes a lot like freedom. How fitting for the finite to become infinitely existing. You are allowed to see yourselves in what you read. Your reason, valid without explanation. Your clothes, like the shedding of dead skin, have been given permission to unstitch themselves from the vulnerabilities of your being and set your spirit free. Hello. Please make yourself comfortable. Should you need anything, I am sure that if home is where the heart is, your love for the if and the how will certainly guide your wonderment down aisles and within stations, nooks, crannies, and hiding places, upper levels and lower basements. No place shall be off limits to the unlocking of a new world. These libraries be like food. Like once upon a time, this be forbidden fruit. I wonder if those who disregard the beauty of a hardback hand to book to hand know that the manual to living rests within the truths of those who've wrestled with their truths enough to insert parable onto page, tucked between an opening and a closing, a beginning with an indefinite end, a siren silent enough to carve out blueprints in non-fictional basements. These recollections be reality regardless of what year it is. I wonder if sleeping in the unknown feels better than listening to the lullabies of our ancestors, whispering in hymnal to humanity, coded in conversation, eventually collected on paper. These books harbor the burials and birth dates of Black and brown smiles, waiting for an oral tradition to marry the written one within a time where most will disregard them both. I wonder if these books will burn away like the desire that never came, like the soul that never went looking for its original birthing place. If libraries will become vacant spaces of truths once lived, if our children will ever be able to read about all the stuff that we did, the riots, the reasoning, the impromptu gas station stops turn moment you'll never forget, whether for good or the worse, the tears that have fallen as midnight makes love to sunrise, the kind of Black love that makes new suns rise, the fanatical and the truth, wrapped in ebony coded language and audibly offered on and off page, first laid in the booth. These libraries be hip hop. Like every book you pick up falls into one of its elements and fits perfectly onto a hook, my hope is that we never stop singing this song, that we never grow weary of being and becoming and uncovering ourselves and stories that'll live beyond us. That dormant curiosity will awaken its wonder and dream its carrier into new land, into new home, into new body, into new soul, into new world, where libraries are always essential and unable to close. Thank you so much. Much peace, much love.